Today, I would like to tell you the life story of Julius Caesar, one of the most impressive and most talked about figures in history. His story is not only about wars or politics, it is also a powerful human story that shows how ambition, intelligence, courage, and destiny are intertwined. Julius Caesar was born in Rome in 100 BC. He came from a noble family, but his family was not wealthy. So, although Caesar was born with status, he did not have the means to use that power on his own. From a young age, he received a very good education. His ability in rhetoric, speaking clearly and persuasively, stood out even then. For someone who wanted to rise in Rome, this was extremely important, because in Rome, power was gained not only by the sword, but also by words. During his youth, Rome was going through a very turbulent period. Civil wars, power struggles, and intrigues were part of everyday life. Caesar sided with those who opposed one of the powerful leaders of the time, Sulla, and because of this, he was forced to flee Rome. He faced the danger of being captured and even came face to face with death. But instead of frightening him, these experiences made him stronger. During this period, he served in the army and stood out with his bravery. One day, he was captured by pirates. This incident is an interesting story that clearly shows Caesar's character. When the pirates demanded a ransom, Caesar said, "I am not worth so little. You should ask for more." After the ransom was paid and he was released, he actually returned, captured the pirates, and punished them. This event shows how confident and determined he was. When he returned to Rome, he accelerated his political career. Caesar knew very well how to win the support of the people. He helped the poor, organized public games, went into debt, but increased his popularity. Because his goal was not short-term money, but long-term power. During this process, he formed an alliance with two important figures, Pompey and Crassus. This trio went down in history as the first triumvirate. Together, they began to control Roman politics. One of the biggest turning points in Caesar's life was the Gallic campaigns. In these lands, which include present-day France and surrounding regions, he fought for many years. He won great victories under very difficult conditions. He built a strong bond with his army. His soldiers saw him not just as a commander, but as a leader. Thanks to these campaigns, he became both extremely wealthy and the most powerful general in Rome. However, this power frightened the other leaders in Rome. Especially Pompey and the Senate believed that Caesar had become too powerful. The Senate ordered Caesar to disband his army and return to Rome alone. At this point, Caesar made the decision that would go down in history. He crossed the Rubicon River and said, "The die is cast." This was a declaration that he had entered a path from which there was no return. The Roman Civil War had officially begun. At the end of the Civil War, Caesar emerged victorious. Pompey fled but was eventually killed. Caesar became the sole ruler of Rome. He now possessed incredible power. He was given the title of a dictator for life. He reorganized the calendar, reduced debts, established colonies, and began rebuilding Rome. The Julian calendar, which we still refer to today, was his creation. However, Caesar's immense power disturbed many members of the Senate. They feared that he would become a king. In Rome, kingship was a deeply hated form of rule. Even though Caesar said, "I am not a king," his power was almost that of one. This fear started the process that would lead him to his death. In 44 BC, on March 15th, known in history as the Ides of March, Caesar went to a Senate meeting. Those around him had warned him, but he did not take the warning seriously. In the Senate building, he was attacked by a group of senators, including Brutus, one of the people he trusted the most. He was stabbed many times. According to legend, when he saw Brutus, he said, AU2, Brutus, Iran collapsed to the ground. The death of Julius Caesar did not bring peace to Rome. On the contrary, it opened the door to new civil wars. His legacy was continued by his adopted heir Octavian, who would later become Emperor Augustus. The Roman Republic gradually came to an end, and the Roman Empire was born. In conclusion, Julius Caesar was not just a soldier or a politician. He was a figure who changed the course of history. With his courage, intelligence, ambition, and mistakes, he continues to be talked about even today. His life shows us this: great power can bring great achievements, but it can also demand great costs. As his power grew, a group of senators decided that the only way to save the Republic was to remove him. On March 15, 44 BC, the Ides of March, Caesar went to a Senate meeting despite several warnings. There, he was attacked and stabbed by conspirators, including his close ally Brutus. Caesar died at the Senate, marking the dramatic end of his life and the beginning of a new period of civil wars in Rome.